The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air. Elisha, man of God, how are you doing?
Very well, Hazael.
I came from your son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, and he sent me with a question, asking, shall he recover from this disease? And look, I even brought every good thing in Damascus. As a matter of fact, I've brought 40 camels worth. So what do you say, Elisha? Will the king recover from this disease?
Hazael, go, say unto your master that he may certainly recover. However, the Lord had showed me that he will die.
He shall certainly recover. However, the Lord has shown he will die. Elisha, why are you weeping?
Because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds you will set on fire. Their young men you will slay with the sword, and you will dash their children and rip up their pregnant women.
But what is your servant, a dog, that I should do such a gross thing?
The Lord has showed me that you shall be king over Syria.
Join us as we unravel the twists and turns of this extraordinary account found in 2 Kings chapter 8, as we explore themes of restoration, justice, and unfathomable ways in which God orchestrates events for his purposes. Get ready for a thought-provoking journey through 2 Kings chapter 8, where hidden truths and profound lessons await. As always, be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your host,
Nakhaz Gate.
Earl Roberts. We are thankful for everyone who tune in weekly, even through our ups and downs. But I guess just for context, this is the week that we're recording where the frequently asked questions episode made its debut, and we just realized we had a little mishap.
Yeah.
So hey, episode 145, and we ain't perfect. We still learning new fairs.
Yeah, new fair unlocked this week. Of abrupt endings.
Hey, they say the devil ain't attacking you on the devil's side. So,
One way to look at it.
Hey, that's one way to look at it. So, hey, we make mistakes, but hey, we ain't perfect. And I guess by the time this episode comes out, that episode's already fixed. We also plan on doing more episodes like that too. Me and Kazi was talking about a topic this week that I think will be very beneficial. I think episodes like that just better to do in person too. So, yeah, man. How's your week been going?
Oh, not too bad. When this episode airs, I would have preached 2 weeks ago.
Crazy.
But in real time, I am preaching tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's just what I've been focusing on the most this week. So I have a lot of home repairs, I should say, or maybe just like modifications that we're trying to make, trying to consolidate some items, decorate here and there. Excuse me, of an uphill battle. We're trying to do this so that we can have, some family come in town and stuff like that.
The things you do for family, eh?
Real talk. And it's like, it was hard for me to juggle because everything I did, bro, and I could see I have 4 weeks to do this. You know what I'm saying? 4 weeks to get all my clothes in here and clean the garage. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And every time I try to do something, I have a feeling like, bro, you should be working on your sermon.
Mercy.
And I was killing my vibe the whole week, like actually almost going on 2 weeks.
Mercy.
And so sometimes I'll be like, all right, let me try, right? But the way I write, I don't get inspired, or I don't have like an urgency to actually try until it gets closer to the deadline. And that's something I hate about myself. It's like that with music, with poetry. And the crazy thing about music, I rarely ever have a deadline. So that's why I could just put stuff on the shelf and it sits for so long. And so I think my sermon didn't really start coming together until like probably Wednesday, you know. And that's really the most of my week, man. Just been juggling between, you know, my everyday schedule and, you know, trying to fit in time for writing, knowing that there's no fixed amount of time that this could take. This could take me 1 hour, 3 hours, 4 hours, you know. And so that's just what I've been up to. How about you?
My week's been good. It's actually been pretty good. I mean, I got a performance review coming up next week in real time. By the time this episode actually comes out, I'll know if I got promoted or not, I guess.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess I would say a little anxious, like, because I'm actually pretty calm about it, but it's like that's coming up at work, so people around the work are a little bit like anxious, I would say. Stuff in personal life going well. Business taking off. So it's actually been a pretty good week. Like I was surprised because I thought that we could have been. It was busy, but it was calming. I don't know how to explain it. So again, I guess that's good because my past weeks have been crazy. And I also think because I actually got some stuff submitted this week at work. So once you get some big submissions in, some of the pressure goes from here and just like a pressure release valve. So you give yourself more breathing room. So I have breathing room at work right now. So it's like, okay, good. But boy, I got a lot of stuff to get done. It's funny. Like you always say the adage or the saying, like, you know, responsibility comes with more work, something like that. I mess up the saying, but that's just how it feels. Like, oh yeah, you asked for a promotion, but you didn't expect the work that came along with the promotion. But it's like, God's like, bro, this is what you asked for. And man, I heard someone say, if you ask God to eat, you can't complain with a lot of stuff on your plate. And I'm like, you know what? Even though people might say I mean, be taking it out of context, in the grand scheme of things is what it is. Like some of the things you pray for and you ask God for. And this is why, you know, when we look at the Bible, we see people go on different journeys. We see people go through different stuff before they get to the actual blessed. And you're like, why? It's because you have to go through different things. Like you prayed for this, but you didn't know what this actually came with, or God's vision of this for you, what it actually entailed. And like Moses, for example, Moses wanted to be the Israelite liberator. He went about it trying to kill people. God's like, whoa there. No.
Not quite, bucko.
I need to take you away. For how long Moses was away for? Almost 40 years?
40 years, yeah.
I need to take you away for 40 years, work on you for 40 years, bro. That's wild. You almost forget the people you wanted to save and bring you back as someone who wasn't even confident to go back and save them. So, I mean, for me, I guess long story short, it's like, you know, I would like the promotion or whatever, but at the same time, too, it's like you can't complain when you actually getting a taste of what it would take to be at the next level. And I guess that's kind of what I'm going through. But, you know, through all things, God is good. Whether I get it or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, God is good. And God's been good to me. Like I see God moving. I think that's like a blessing. I've also had like different conversations with people about God this week too. And that's actually been pretty cool. Just about like different topics. Like, you know, one of them I had. And then today I was just talking about someone else about like what it truly means to be the salt of the earth. I don't even know how we got on this topic, but it was just a very interesting conversation to see what people believe, bro. And how the devil have people, man, the devil, like, quick tangent. I know we got an episode to get to, and this ain't gonna be like a full FAQ episode, right? But like, man, like, bro, the devil really got people here believing like he ain't on earth, like tempting people, bro. And I'm just like, how y'all get here, bro? Like, how y'all believe in this? Like biblically, where it's coming from? But like, people legitimately believe oh yeah, the devil coming back to earth to come tempt me like in like next 50 years or something. I'm like, what? Where y'all getting this from?
The devil. Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
But it's been like a very interesting conversations, bro. Like very, very interesting conversations.
It's just so interesting. I'll be honest with you, bro. You remember the other day on Bahamian Twitter, they were just memeing just like Bible scenarios and how Bahamians would respond.
Yes.
Part of that was very cringy to me because a lot of people were like, they were misquoting certain things. You know what I'm saying? So like, like they would say, when Pilate said XYZ, but Pilate might not have said that. Herod might have said that. You know what I'm saying? And it's stuff like that was making me cringe, right? Because I'm like, bro, all right, I get you had to do what you had to do to get this joke to fly, you know, but this isn't biblically accurate, you know? Sometimes, like, when people are being biblically inaccurate, that like, kind of makes me cringe.
Rubs you the wrong way.
Yeah, because people so confident the way they say it, you know? And it go to show you the way people internalize the Bible sometimes, but sometimes they might have it might be hearsay, you know what I'm saying? They might have studied it and, you know, they might just be getting it incorrect. But my cousin sends me videos of people, like, it might be like an AI just reading a text or I'm breaking down a story. And the story is so isolated that you might think think about it in a greater capacity. I'll give you an example. One of the stories was the 3 men that are in heaven that escaped death. They start off with Enoch, right? And I said, okay, cool. Then they went Elijah, but then they said, what's your boy name? Can't remember his name. Melchizedek. And I was like, okay. And so then they went in the New Testament text and they was talking.
The conversation we had that time too.
And that was the conversation, right? Going. And so I was just like, bro, what his name is again? Melchizedek. Is Melchizedek in heaven? You know, and you read the text and you say, and I say, okay, I see how you all come up with that. But then further along the text, it kind of contradicts it. And so you have a choice to lean on either side of this, and you pick the side, and then you preach that to people. And you know, people who are not going to read the Bible for themselves, they get this and they say that's law. Another video he sent me this week was about Jude. And it was Jude chapter. It's just only one chapter in Jude, but
yeah,
I think it was a verse saying that the angels are chained to darkness.
Oh,
before that. So it's saying out, and that's what I thought. That's what I thought the first video was going to talk about. but it was saying how the fallen angels are chained to darkness, right? And I started to brace myself because I thought this was going to be a conversation saying that all demons are in hell right now. Because I was about to say, bro, if that's what you're getting from this, then you disregard all of the gospels, because there are many people possessed with demons. You know, it's encounters with demons in the New Testament and specifically in the gospels. But Cuz was on the same page as me, but it just got to show how people can just show you this version of the Bible. Like they can show you one story, one text, and if you take the text a certain way, that could lead you down a whole philosophy of false theology. That can lead you down a whole rabbit hole of false theology, bro. And that's what's crazy. But the salt of the earth thing, bro, that's good, bro. I think that's something we could discuss on our next.
Oh, definitely.
That's open discussion.
Yeah, that's definitely one of we have on the docket. But before we venture into all of that, you know, let's
get to the text.
2 Kings chapter 8. So we in 2 Kings chapter 8. Last episode, I think we ended on verse 6. So this episode will pick up in verse 9. Last episode we kind of just we saw again the state of the northern kingdom. Cannibalism was a thing, and then there was this guy who we kind of jokingly said opened his mouth out of turn. But Elisha prophesied that tomorrow, this time, so like flour will cost something. And again, they were in the midst of a famine. We see how God miraculously delivered the kingdom of Israel a victory that they had to do nothing for. And it was the lepers, the outcasts of society, who actually went and saw it and reported it back. And again, like they had food. And so now that brings us to, and then at the end of that episode, Elisha told the widow, was she a widow at that time? The Shunamite woman, either way, that hey, a famine coming, you need to leave and go to the Philistines. And she did. So now in verse 7, we change gears. So Elisha went to Damascus. Let me see if I excuse me. Okay, now I'm good. Elisha went to Damascus. Then Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, was sick. And it was told him, saying, there, the man of God has come here. And the king said to Hazael, take a present in your hand and go meet the man of God and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, shall I recover from this disease? So Hazael went to meet him and took the present with him of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camel loads, and came and stood before him and said, your son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, has sent me to you, saying, shall I recover from this disease? Now, I just want to say something, right?
Mm-hmm.
This the same king, if I'm not mistaken, who was just attacking you.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I think about this king, bro. You see Hazael?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I really wish I knew I was going on this rabbit hole. It's so easily. Remember when remember when Elijah, right? When he was running away and God showed him everything, and he was like, why are you running? No, why are you running? Let me see. I'm in 1 Kings chapter 19. All right. The Lord said, go return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus and when you arrive, anoint Hazael as king over Syria. Now remember,
Yep.
So Elijah anoints Hazael to be the successor of the king of Syria. And in the previous chapter, you realize Ben-Hadad
is still king.
Is king at the time of Elijah. When the Syrians were fighting Ahab and Ahab didn't kill the king, that was Ben-Hadad. And so now we in part 2 of the book of Kings, and we see Hazael is about to be king, and that lets us know that Ben-Hadad is still the first king that's alive. You know what I'm saying? And so, his successor, Hazael.
But it's just funny to me, like this is the same king who was trying to kill Elisha. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You go on there to kill him, and then they learn you
now,
good that day.
It's just funny, man. Like, it's like now, like what happened to all your gods? That's my thing. What happened to all your gods? You sick now you're trying to turn to the God of the Hebrews because you know he has power. But now it's the same man you're trying to kill. But now in your time of weakness, you come into 40 camel loads of presents to try to get a favorable message. Like you didn't hear what happened to Naaman? Like his gifts go, well, you see, that's how Gehazi gonna mess up this message. Because Naaman technically left gifts.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it show how like the true story could get altered from someone else's perspective. Because Naaman went back like, oh yeah, like I left them some gifts. And the king heard that story. Naaman got healed. Now think about it too. Like your top general went there, got healed by this man. Took gifts. Didn't leave all the gifts, but took gifts and left some and got healed. You're sick now. Now I know for a fact you could heal. Now I need to be healed. I'm going to send 40 camel loads because my boy only came with 10. Well, he might have come with, I just saying 10. I feel
10
like
change
10.
of closing.
Yeah.
6,000 shekels of gold.
So imagine what 40 camel loads of the finest things in all of Syria could offer him. Surely I must get a favorable message and could be healed too.
For sure.
Wait, that's wild.
That's what it is, bro. That's what it is. That's a good observation. My sermon about to be on Naaman tomorrow. Well, people who listen to my sermon was just on Naaman.
Yeah, like that's interesting, right? And so now in verse 10, Elisha said to him, go, say to him, you shall certainly recover. However, the Lord has shown me that he will really die.
And so that's what I didn't understand. Which one is it? Because I started to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, all right, tell him he will recover because he will recover of the sickness, but he still could die. You understand what I'm saying? He's going to die from something that's not the sickness. You feel me? Or that could be saying, that could be Elisha saying, tell him he's going to live, but he really going to die. But that would be bearing false witness. You know what I mean? That'd be
I think it was like, yeah, you can recover from the sickness, but the sickness ain't gonna be the thing that kill you. It's like two things could be true. You could have been just sick, but you die in a car accident.
Yeah. So you asked me if you was going to recover or if you was going to die from the sickness. The answer is no, you're not going to die from that.
Exactly.
But you will surely die.
Yeah, I think it was one of those situations. Like in 2020. Anyway, I ain't gonna say that before our video get taken down. Let me stop.
Trying to get it shut down quick into the episode.
Hey, our video tonight still trying to get uploaded.
I gotta say, you want something else? Get in abruptly.
Oh my. So, but he will die. So in verse 11, then he sat his countenance in a stare until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. And Hazael said, my Lord, why is my Lord weeping? He said, because I know the evil that you will do to the children of Israel.
Mercy.
Their strongholds you will set on fire, and their young men you will kill with the sword, and you will dash their children and rip open their women with child.
Mercy.
That's just wild.
Well, you know, when I read Antiquities of the Jews by Flavius Josephus, yeah, the former Pharisee and Jewish historian that covered the Jewish revolt in 70 AD. That's the type of stuff they say was happening when the Romans went to war against the Israelites, the Jews, I should say. Pregnant women, it's getting open up. People who's getting open up. But if you eat, that's what I was saying, bro. Like being in a farming is something, but I by the grace of God, I don't even want to experience, bro. Because like the stuff what they say was happening in that book, bro, it's akin to the same. It's akin to Kings, bro. Like when it was cannibalism, that's in that book, and this historic literature, bro.
But history's repeat itself, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
It's nothing new under the sun.
But it's crazy.
I mean, when you think about it, right? Like even on a deeper level, the reason why is because when humans back against the wall, you're just gonna turn to your own way of thinking.
Yeah.
And we have time and time again once you get to that breaking point, who are we at the end of the day, bro?
Right.
Just sinful beings, go for it.
And see, when you think about this time in Jewish history, as well as 70 AD, it's the same thing. It's great apostasy to the point where you barricade yourself from the deliverance of God. So you get subjected to the curses of Deuteronomy 28 instead of the blessings of Deuteronomy 28. It's the same scenario that wounded them, the children of God, in this predicament both times. And so when you spend so much time worshiping idol and pushing God away, God gives us over to our own desires, to our own devices, and now the devil has free reign to control us and to push us to do things because we don't have the protection from God. And so that's how you could have people being cannibals and don't see nothing wrong with it. And we're in a fight over someone else's child who ain't getting give up. See, like 2 episodes ago. Or maybe 3. Yeah.
And I think also too, well, technically this point could be a little bit more applicable after this next sentence, right? So in verse 13, Hazael said, but what is your servant, a dog, that he should do this gross thing? And Elisha said, the Lord has shown me that you will become king over Syria. So to your point, we showed how Hazael will be the next king of Syria, right? And tying in what you said earlier, and even this, is like we as humans severely underestimate how evil our true nature actually are.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because like right now we see Elisha just saw a peek into what was in Hazael's heart. He might not even been planning this yet, right? He might not even be planning this, or he could have just been fronting. We don't have enough evidence to know.
Yeah.
Right, how he truly is. But Elisha pretty much saw a peek into what was in this guy's heart. And he was like, I ain't even thinking this right now, but you don't even know your own true desire. You don't even know how you're going to act when you actually do become king. You don't know what deep inside you when the Israelites actually make you mad, what you're actually capable of. But Elisha's saying, bro, you're going to do these things. And I standing right here next to you. You don't even know you're going to be king yet.
Yeah, that's the thing, bro. A lot of us underestimate what we capable of, bro. And that's why I feel like David was so repenting. I feel like that's why David fell, because up until that point, he had been like a golden child.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of blinded him on the possibility of, falling. And so when you don't think you could fall, you're not going to take the necessary precautions not to. You're not going to be cautious. You know what I'm saying? If you petrified of stealing, you could try your best not to be in them predicaments to even do that. Like if you know that you are likely to steal in certain scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't want to steal, you're gonna avoid being in them scenarios. You don't know how weak your flesh is in certain environments. So I feel like that's what caused David to fall. And it wasn't just that David was, a lusty dude. It could be, you could make the argument because he had multiple wives, but this is the only instance that we even see this happen that one time, but it was a big fall from grace, and so Hazael, I don't put nothing past him because of his father Ben-Hadad. I mean, he wasn't the worst king, like the most evil beast-like king, but he wasn't a man of righteousness, in my opinion. The first time he got introduced to him was, I think, I don't know if this is the first time, but one time I remember is when he was talking to Ahab and he was like, bro, I taken your wives, I taken your children, even the goodliest, I taken all of that's mine. You know what I mean? So you see him kind of arrogant, stuff like that. But Hazael, like you say, he might not know what he's capable of, or he might be fully aware and just playing dumb. But the fact is, this is being prophesied, and this is what is going to come to pass. I don't think Kings gets into it when it actually happens, but this is what's going to come to pass.
So why you think Elisha didn't tell him exactly how the king would die?
Bro, just see this the part that it's like kind of confusing to me, because the king probably was going to die. See, I still ain't fully know if Elisha was just trying to lie and say, tell him he's not gonna die, but he's gonna surely die. He told him to tell him he's not gonna die, but between me and you, he's gonna surely die. You understand? And so I don't know if you just didn't want to tell him the answer, or if you wanted to deceive him, or if you knew that there was some way, regardless of anything that you do, that was going to lead him to die. Like if the Lord has sentenced him to die today to be his day, or whenever, that is going to happen. And Elijah was just making him privy to that. The three things, I don't know which one to land on, because
Yeah.
I know what happens next. But
Yeah, I mean, so in verse 14, then he departed from Elisha and came to his master, who said to him, what did Elisha say to you? And he answered, he told me you will surely recover. But it happened the next day, he took a thick cloth and dipped it in water and spread it all over his face so that he died. And Hazael reigned in his place.
yeah, he suffocated him.
So Hazael assassinated him.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
but watch this though. Suppose Hazael know he was gonna die, and he just take him out of his misery. The Bible don't say it.
Suppose Hazael was like, boy, I tired of you reigning. And that's and this way thing too, right? And speculation, not sure. Use of a breath of fresh air reflects the parties involved. We encourage you to use as a conversational tool into further studies of your own. But suppose Elijah, like we just were saying, it's a possibility Elijah just was showing him what was really in his heart. Suppose he already had these plans all along. You know what I'm saying? And was waiting it out to say, bro, if this illness could kill you, I don't have to act on this. Because now I could just take over after you die.
That's
now
true.
I find out you're about to recover.
Mm-hmm.
If you recover, you can still be king. I have these aspirations to take the throne for myself. And I just saying, bro, yeah, you can recover, but I can't. I done with this. Let me just take you out right now. Because now we could always just blame it on
the sickness. Sick. Yeah. And ain't nobody could really do an investigation because they're like, oh no, he's sick anyway. You know what I mean?
But because he literally like waterlogging, bro. Like saying, so everyone know the king was sick. He ain't questioning it.
Right? Ain't nobody could question that.
He ain't no foul play. He ain't got no star bones or nothing. So it's just interesting, right? So you see the kind of
Yeah, I think, bro. I know. I think I leaning more towards what you're saying. You know what I mean?
but it's like, oh my. So I'm just like, so the part of gets interesting, right? Because we know he was supposed to be anointed to be the next king of Israel.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But you kind of take the Jacob route, just take it for yourself and not wait for it to come to you.
I want to ask you something, bro.
Yeah, go for it.
So, verse 10, right?
Mhm.
Elisha said, "Go say to him, you will surely recover, howbeit the Lord has shown me that he will surely die." Right? Then he set his countenance in a stare until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. That verse
He,
11.
see what I'm saying? I think Hazy already had in his heart. I want to take this boy out.
Right. So this is the thing. Let's just act it out a little bit, right?
This is
Me
skip.
being the man of God, right? You being Hazael. God, no, the Lord told me that he would surely recover. However, the Lord told me that he would surely die. And then he just stared at him. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? So like Elijah say that, and then it was a stare. Like I know what you like it was a stare to implicate him. You see what I'm
Like,
saying? Like,
bro, I know what you have on your heart right now.
right. And it's because they stare until there was a shame. So two of them knew it. So that's a theory. Two of them knew it was being implied, but nobody had to explain it because we was on the same page when you say that.
And then too is like, and this I think he just was playing dumb, bro. Like, all right, why is my Lord weeping? Because I know the evil that you're about to do to. But now you say, okay, I know you're about to do to the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, so you ain't talking about what I thought you was talking about. Talking about something different. But we all know, in that brief moment of guiltiness, we all know what you thought I was going to say though.
Yep. We passed that. That one already in the books already.
And that one done established. We don't need to say it.
We don't need to say it. That would be very interesting, bro.
But I'm about to tell you about all the evilness you're about to do after you do the first evil that you already have in your heart to do.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that's crazy, bro. Dad was like, "Yo, you go find out," but he asked the worst person. He asked the worst person to speak on his behalf.
No, bro. Sometimes he might ask the right person because this guy probably has the most ambition to kill me. So let me send him away. It might be both. Who knows? Like, because at the same time,
he might have just trust him because this might be his son.
That's what I'm saying. This might be like the most trusted person to you too. Like, let me trust you to go find this out for me. Man, that's wild. Ouch. But
He wasn't playing dumb, bro. But if he cut that movie the next day, he wasn't playing dumb. He wasn't playing dumb, bro. No, he was playing dumb, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know. He had to have been like, "Oh, yeah. you're on to me. I might as well do this quick now. Like, I've already been found out."
Yeah, dog.
That's wild.
Crazy, bro.
That's wild.
Elisha gave him the look.
I know what you're up to.
He's gonna survive, but somehow he's gonna die.
The sickness ain't about to kill him.
No, but he's gonna die. Boy, that's interesting.
Mercy. All right. So in verse 16, now in the 5th year of the J's again. The J's are back.
But you know what's interesting about this? You see they calling him Joram instead of Jehoram. But in previous texts, we know that Ahab's son's name was Jehoram.
It's funny, right? Because I look at this on the screen, right? I forget the little subtitle. Jehoram reigns in Judah.
But they talking about
in verse 16. Now in the 5th year of Joram.
Right, but they talking about the next See, because Joram, they saying reigns in Israel. But the subtitle talking about the one in Judah. So now it's two Jehorams. But nah, they have to make a distinction.
The J's are back. The J's are back.
But that's what I said. They both have the same name, but they shorten one so that we can notice the Northern Kingdom distinction.
He's still there for that. All right. It's now in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat, having been king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, began to reign as king of Judah. He was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And when he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, just as the house of Ahab had done, for the daughter of Ahab, his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Yet the Lord would not destroy Judah for the sake of his servant David, as he promised him to give a lamp to him and his sons forever. In the days Edom, and really and truly Edom is like these guys is like cousins, revolted against Judah's authority and made a king over themselves. So Joram went to Zaire and all his chariots with him. Then he rose by night and attacked the Edomites, who had surrounded him, and the captains of the chariots, and the troops fled to their tents. Thus Edom had been in revolt against Judah's authority to this day, and Libnah revolted at that time. Now the rest of the acts of Joram and all he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Joram rested with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. Then Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his place.
That's so interesting, bro. He was buried in the city of David?
The city of David.
What? Joram, meaning the one in the Northern Kingdom, right? Him and his father.
This had to be the one. This had to be the one from Judah, though.
Why? Because they say Joram. Unless they just switch it.
I think they switch it by.
Revolt. Yeah, they switch it, bro. They switch it mid-story, bro. You see that? Look at verse 20. It said, in the days, in his days, Edom revolted against Judah's authority and made a king over themselves. So Joram went to Zaire. Right? I mean, they could be saying that Israel fight on behalf of them, but why would they do that? Why wouldn't they make that distinction? So I guess I think it's just how I get interpreted, man. That's tricky. But anyway, because that would make sense. You from the Southern Kingdom, you resting with David, with the fathers in the city of David. You resting in the city of David.
Yeah, I don't like how they do this one.
Yeah, let me tell you what I don't like. and I'm just saying this loosely because who cares? Like,
for real.
I don't like how y'all naming your children the same thing, right? And then y'all intermarrying. You see that? So now,
I mean, it's like not to like make fun of it, right? People in the Middle East today, a lot of people name the same thing, bro.
That's true. You can't hate on that. I mean, that's what it is in every country.
I just say it's like, to this day.
You know how much Vanos we got in the Bahamas, bro? Like,
real. I just saying, bro. I don't know if it's just a cultural thing, but like even from then to now, bro, we have a lot of people named the same thing.
But so, like even at the beginning, bro, they had multiple Lamechs in both lines. They had an Enoch in both. I think they had an Enoch in both lines.
Yeah, and you would think you had the world as your oyster for names at that point. At that point in the world's history, yeah.
Bro, see, they was just copying back then, bro. Like, at the beginning, they was like, I like that name. I'm switching it up. I don't like that. That one I really don't like.
I mean, but then too, it's like names really had meanings.
It had meanings. Yeah, it had meanings. So, so I guess we could say the same thing in this scenario. But the fact of the matter is we have two kings now with the same name. Confusing. Because, bro, come on, bro. There's two separate nations, right? But then on top of that, one is your brother. So the daughter of Ahab was the wife of the king of Judah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the king of Israel, his sister married, you know what I mean? So that woman, one is her blood brother and one is her husband, and they both have the same name. You know what I mean? Like, Yeah,
I can't do it.
gotta confuse it.
I can't do it. So now, verse 25. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Isaiah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. Isaiah was 22. So plot twist, right? I was reading something early this week on this, right? And so I don't even, that's ironic because I didn't even realize we was actually going to talk about this one this week. But in some versions, you would read that this guy became king when he was 42, and others you would see he became king when he's 22.
Yeah, that's how this be sometime for true.
But he really became king when he was 22.
Okay.
So that's just to point out when anyone just asks.
But you don't remember when we was going over Saul, they had it so that Jonathan was like mad old, like according to the North. I can't remember, man. Like if you read the NIV, they make Saul out to be like much older than what he actually was.
Mhm.
And so it make Jonathan much older than David, you know, but in actuality, they probably was similar age bracket, but who knows?
Yeah. So he's 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother name was Athaliah.
Talia.
Athaliah. It's a nice name.
Yeah, that's a nice name. And that's the same woman there who I was saying her brother and her husband about kings, you know what I mean, with the same name.
Mm-hmm. Athaliah.
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason, sound modern.
It do. It really do.
Mm-hmm. Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri.
Sound
King of-
Italian. Like I sound like
I was thinking Italian in my head too. I was like, huh. Yeah, okay.
Interesting how it get transliterated.
You know?
Yeah.
The granddaughter of Omri, king of Israel. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab. Well, you know, that's done bad. And
Yep.
did evil in the sight of the Lord, like the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab.
Yep.
Now he went with Jehoram. Ouch. The son of Ahab to war against Hazael, the king of Syria, at Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians wounded Jehoram. Then King Jehoram went back to Jezreel to recover from the wounds which the Syrians had inflicted on him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria. And Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Jehoram, the son of Ahab of Jezreel, because he was sick.
Mm.
Here ends the chapter.
Yeah, boy, them Syrians really putting it on the Israelites, bro.
Hazael say, "Boy, I don't know what I could do to y'all.
I already know. Boy, I just
Y'all just giving me reasons. Nah,
You know,
I could make the prophecy come true."
Cause you see, and it's bad because I be watching these medieval shows, right? I haven't watched them in a while, but I just remember like some of the popular ones. And you might have a really sinister guy on you probably thinking about someone right now, right? And so imagine this really sinister character person, and you have a message from God saying all of the havoc that you about to wreak. And you trying to be like, why? What's going on? You know, but in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, it's on. I about to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so we can see it coming. It wasn't as graphic as Elisha was saying, you know, they're saying you about to burn down the high places and rip pregnant women and things like that. So I don't think they get as graphic, but you could see these kings don't stand a chance against you, against Hazael, king of Syria. It's been a while since the Israelites stood like the Israelites as a nation was able to like go toe to toe with them, because last time, man,
they need David, but nothing was the same after David, man.
Real talk. It's be small victories they get, and then a lot of times it's be because like the prophet involved. You know what I mean? So like they was trying to kill the prophet, so now y'all gotta get run. And then the prophet, you know, prophesied that, you know, food gonna be so cheap the next day, and they didn't defeat them in battle, but they get them to run away. You know, they were scared. You know, but yeah, like you say, but since David, it wasn't in too much victories I seen. And
Solomon watered down the army. Then his son lose grip of the kingdom. And after that, the host of No, house what? Let's say a house divided among itself can't stand something. Either way, they just fall apart.
I see why Solomon was so stressed out in Ecclesiastes, you know. He said, but you can leave everything your son, but you don't know if he could be wise or a fool, bro. Like,
But the
stress
funny part
about
is, Solomon was the fool who caused the kingdom get divided.
the side irony, bro.
It's like we could blame the son, but Solomon, it was you. I know
It was written,
God
bro.
ain't rip it from you. It was because of David.
Because of your daddy. It was
Like,
and the reason why it was ripped from Rehoboam is because of his daddy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Rehoboam couldn't do nothing to stop this.
No, it was written, bro. It was written, dog.
That's sick.
And so, yeah, we see a downward spiral, right? Between the two nations
out
now.
of control since Judges.
Yes, but Jehoshaphat, his record clean. Elisha even say, "Boy, I rate you. I have respect for you. You know, so this is the man of God, right?" And Jehoshaphat, I can't remember if it's his son or his grandson, but they get to intermarrying. You understand? And so the bad nation and the good nation, or the nation that is worships idol, the nation that is pure and worship God for the most part, are now intermarrying. And now we can see where that's a lethal combination, you know.
What this reminds you of? This reminds me of Genesis.
The sons of God and the daughters of men. Yeah.
When Seth children and Cain children started intermarrying.
Yep.
And you see that's when perversion really starts taking place, because there's no more separation between good and evil. I mean, that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, and so you know the old saying, one bad apple spoiled the bunch. You understand what I'm saying? Stuff like that, bro. It's like it could be like parasitic, bro. We see when Balaam was Balak, when he was requesting that Balaam curse the Israelites. Balaam, he couldn't curse them, but when we read through Numbers, we see where that they conspired and they came up with another plan to get Israel to be cursed. And that plan was for them to intermingle with the women of, the other nations, right? So, man, that's a lot of men of God, a lot of the children of God, a lot of the nation of Israel, like the men have fallen to strange women, strange meaning foreign, ungodly women. Same thing with Solomon. Case in point, we just was talking about the man. Solomon's the new Samson now. We easing up off Samson, especially me.
I was gonna say it's really you and these S names. I don't know.
I know they just give me plenty content to even go based off of, bro. But it's like you see if the wisest man on earth, or the wisest man to ever live, if his downfall was idolatrous women, we know that nobody, if you was wiser than anyone else and you still fall, you understand? We know that that's not a good that's not a winning combination. As soon as those two come together, that's a recipe for disaster, and this isn't a broad topic saying about being unequally yoked, because that ain't, I talking based on culture, or the thing exported. So hopefully we're gonna be set with our episode that what we were saying that didn't work out. But but it is some truth to it. Like, I wasn't really trying to get on a relationship topic, you understand? But it is some truth to it. The Bible says don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers, right? And so it's like you and I, like when we look at the analogy of that, the oxen, they plowing, right? So they have to be like kind of mounted together, right? And they have to walk in the same direction. They have to be on one accord. They have to be of equal strength, of equal pace. Now, it's so many we're not oxen. There's so many variables. Some people, you and I may meet each other at the same level, but my potential of growth could be much higher than yours. So after a while, we could get unequal. But as human beings, we could be adaptable. You understand? But the overall theme of it is like, bro, can two walk unless they agree?
Mercy.
If we don't agree, how can we move? How can we progress? Someone will have to compromise for us to stay together. And the fact that these people, these kings who have greater responsibility than most of us because they're the leaders of these nations, the nations so-called children of God. If these kings are unequally yoked and they are continue to move in the direction of their wife and not the other way around, that is going to end up in apostasy. That's going to end up with the nation and everyone below you trickling down and straying away from God. And that's what we're seeing.
And it's so interesting too, because we have so many examples of this, right? Like, think about it. But most of the times when we have the children of Israel really messing themselves up, is because they intermarry and are starting to worship false gods. Since the intermarrying is really what get them. Like, what did Balaam say? Hey man, I can't curse these people, but here's what you can do.
Yep.
Go and party with them and introduce them to your God slowly. I can't curse them, but only they could curse themselves. And how they get to curse themselves? Get them to worship your God. Why? We just were joking about Solomon and Rehoboam. But what does Solomon do? Intermarry with everybody. But then they get them in his old age to start worshiping their gods and building temples to them. And then God was like, I can't have this. Boom. And so now we're seeing even the southern and northern kingdom intermarrying. It's funny because you would think they should be safe amongst themselves. But we know one kingdom is being deep in paganism. But now you're intermarrying with them, and now your kingdom starting to fall and getting all the curses and stuff. And it's so interesting because each time we see the curses, you all know the curses, you all have the history of these things. But we was talking about this in several episodes, pre-pod, post-pod, but it's like, how close can some people be to the truth and still not get it? And this is a fine example of that. Like, to me, Judah doesn't have any excuse. Neither does Israel should have any excuse. But now it's like, even for Judah, y'all see the stuff they be going through in the north. You know what I'm saying? And y'all should know why. Because y'all got the same prophets. You know what I'm saying? Like, Elisha around for both of y'all, I feel like. And all the other prophets that don't get no shine, but we know y'all have other prophets out there ministering to y'all as well. So we know hope isn't lost. It's just that y'all ain't receiving the hope and y'all still doing your own thing. But y'all see the example and y'all still choosing to do evil. And that's the part that really is like gets me. And that's us too. Like, I mean, we can call a spade a spade. Like, that's us too in this world. Like, we know what we shouldn't be doing and what we should be doing. And we still consciously choose to do the wrong thing. And we have to look within and see why, see how we could fix that. And I think, we shouldn't say we think, but we only could do that with the Holy Spirit. But it's sad to say we know better than them. And as much as we could get on them and say, oh, they being ignorant, oh, they just being fools. I mean, shoot, even just sitting here talking now, I'm like, man, how much time has the devil got me to do the same stupid old thing that I know I shouldn't do? And man, it's a justification to you, like, oh, I shouldn't do this, but yeah, I'm doing it. It. I'll pray about that sin later. I say in the joking manner, but I mean, let's be honest, we all have been there before. I mean, if you haven't, I have. And I definitely know how that is, man. So it's weird, man, because like we can say, oh yeah, y'all should know better, but we should also know better. And so how much time we're in the same place as the children of Israelite, and we might say it might not be as grave of a sin, but it's a sin nonetheless.
Elisha's conversation with Hazael was bittersweet in nature. On one hand, he prophesied the things that would come to pass for Hazael, but on the other hand, it would all be at Israel's expense. Meanwhile, in Israel, there is a new king, Jehu, and he too will fulfill prophecy. But we'll talk more about that on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at Abreathoffreshairpod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next week.